Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So I have a quick question. Who here has went to Moses Y Beach? Ooh, we see the merch, rocket. Everybody's been to Moses Y, huh?
Yeah.
I think Moses Y Beach is a real
Yeah,
place.
yeah. I thought it was Moses Yale Beach.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what.
yeah, there was a picture of him with like this neck brace thing or something.
What?
Yeah, when you pass, like when you go near the office, you pass it, you see that.
Yeah, there's like a
just
framed picture
there's like
on the wall.
There's
And
a
that's
picture of him and like there's another picture with like words.
Okay.
Is it?
Alright, here's another question. We talked about birthdays when you guys first came in here. How do you guys feel about birthdays? Are they important?
They are awesome.
Do you think your birthday's like, it's probably important you get it right? What if your mom or dad thought like, oh, well, my kid's birthday is this Tuesday, but it's actually Friday. What would you say to mom? Would you be kind of upset?
Yeah, a little bit.
Forgot
I
your
don't
birthday?
understand.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Yeah,
because if it's on Tuesday, then why would you have it on a Friday?
Well, what if somebody
What
forgot?
if you sweat?
No.
It was
What
on-
if your birthday was on a Friday? Okay.
My
It
birthday's
is
not. My birthday's
It's
on
like on
a
a
Wednesday.
Saturday or Sunday.
My birthday's
I
on a
It's
Wednesday.
like on a Wednesday or
This is on
Thursday.
We're gonna learn all about Moses Yale Beach's birthday today. So I'm gonna read you a book called The Check Minus.
I
Now,
see the cover.
the cover. Do you see it? Do you see the cover on these two pictures here?
Yeah.
Look, that's our school.
That's it.
Yeah. Wait,
That's-
guys.
yeah.
It's not.
Yeah,
See?
that's it.
That's
the
city
school.
hall.
Holding for City Hall.
No, that's the school.
Yeah,
Alright.
that's City Hall.
No, it's
So
school.
what do you guys think of this? Let me show you. We were gonna use this cover instead of this one. Do you think we made the right choice by using this one?
We don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know?
Yes.
Well, which one do you
Give
think
us
looks better?
reasons.
Which one do you think looks better
That
first?
one. Because
maybe
like
give
there's
us
lots
reasons.
of like stuff like over here,
Yeah.
and this one's just like a
And
picture.
and
it looks like he's like imagining all those things in his
Right?
head.
Just hand and tell me where you think the kid is in this picture.
in the library.
In the library, right? That's what it looks like.
Library. How does she say?
Does anyone know what he has in his hands?
Library.
Go ahead, Ronnie. What's that book called?
The world.
The World Encyclopedia. Have any of you ever looked at an encyclopedia before?
Encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia.
I have
We're
a
already
giant-
smart. We don't need.
I have an encyclopedia.
We don't need encyclopedias.
I'm
We're
like the
already so
smartest kid in the
smart.
class.
Encyclopedia gives you all these kind of world facts. So, gives you facts about important people,
Are you sure that's
places,
not the word book?
things. That's the dictionary. That's just words.
Yeah, that's just words in their
But an
definition.
encyclopedia will give you information
Like
about
potato.
Moses Yale Beach.
Potato.
It'll give you information about a city, potatoes, farms.
Potato.
You mean potatoes?
What
Going
about-
bananas?
Alright, give me
What
a flat,
about,
give me a flat tire. Alright,
I don't want to do flat tire.
I'm gonna start reading too, okay? Alright, no one fall asleep, okay? It's the Check Minus, based on 2 true Wallingford stories.
Smushed together.
The arrival. With a hiss and a croak, a big old city bus rumbled to a stop at the curb in front of the Wallingford Town Hall. The door swung open, and Yusuf trepidatiously descended the oversized steps with his head on a swivel. Everything looked different, and there was so much to see. His parents, just behind him, looked exhausted. It had been a long journey from Morocco, and due to the Easter holiday schedule, they had arrived early. So here, with their suitcases stacked up higher than Yusuf's head, but shorter than the street clock towering above them, they had to stop and wait. While his father cranked his neck upward to check the time, Yusuf noticed the large inscription, Wallingford, 1670.
1670.
What do you guys think that year means?
Like
Here, wait, raise a hand, tell me.
When the building behind it was installed.
When the building was made, okay.
When Wallingford was established.
That's true. Church bells began to ring in the distance, and his mind wandered. It was March 29th, 1991, a special day for people of faith around the world. His imam had spoken of this day, the beginning of Passover and Good Friday, a rare day of convergence for the world's three major religious faiths, including his own holy month, Ramadan. After a long day of fasting, the sound of Yusuf's belly could be heard between the bells. He knew people had been preparing for their arrival, and tonight they would all share a celebratory feast. He reached into his jacket and pulled out an unopened bag of medjouls, which are fresh dates, a gift for his family, who he had never met. A celebration. Just above a tailor shop on Center Street, Yusuf met his older cousins for the very first time. While the parents discussed their plans to expand their family business, a halal butchery in the center of town, Amina and Amir proudly gave Yusuf a tour of his new home. It was a small apartment, but they made room. Yusuf's stomach growled as they passed the kitchen. Amir laughed and waved for him to follow toward the stove. But Amina quickly reminded them that everyone must pray before they could eat. "How far away is your masjid?" Yusuf asked impatiently, pointing out the window at an obelisk piercing the sky in the distance. "Down the street?" To his astonishment, Amina informed Yusuf that there was no masjid in the town. Instead, they would be going to a school nearby. There in the gymnasium, they would share holiday prayers and break their fast. Does anyone know what a fast is?
A feast.
Go ahead, tell us.
It's when you don't eat from sunrise to sunset.
Correct.
So that it's for Ramadan.
And when you break your fast, what are you doing?
You're eating.
Yes. Good job. Walking through the center of town as one big family, they arrived at Moses Y. Beach Elementary just before sunset. Yusuf recognized the name Moses on the building wall as they walked inside. It was a familiar name. Moses was the most frequently mentioned individual in the Quran. They entered the school gym, which was decorated to mark the occasion. They socialized, they prayed, they ate. Yusuf shared his medjouls with everyone, his new community. He looked around at an unfamiliar place surrounded by versions of things he knew. Before they left, his cousins revealed to him that this was their school, and now his school too. Yusuf looked up at the name on the building again, Moses. He wondered if this Moses was like the messenger of God, a prophet, or if that would be different too. The assignment. This is where it gets juicy, guys.
Finally.
The wide, echoing hallways of Moses Y. Beach Elementary felt like a gauntlet Yusuf had to navigate alone. His cousins, being of similar but different ages, were in different grades and therefore separate classes. Until the school bell rang, Yusuf was on his own. His new sneakers squeaked against the polished floor, announcing his arrival to the sea of unfamiliar faces. Yusuf was a lone buoy bobbing in a vast, churning ocean. Did anyone else feel like that when you go into a new school? Like, how was your first day at MYB? Did you kind of feel like, well, I don't know anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels very alone
I
because
can
his
make
cousins.
friends. I make friends very easily.
Do you? I could see.
We had friends from pre-K there.
I don't remember my first days because it was at pre-K.
Okay. Ready? Let's go back in. Nervous but excited, he entered his fourth grade classroom for the first time, clutching his worn backpack like a life preserver. A lump formed in his throat, choking back the greetings he desperately wanted to offer. He found an empty desk and quietly sat down. There was a marker and a blank place card in front of him. He wrote his name on the place card in big bold letters, Yusuf. Proudly displaying his name, he looked around the room, offered a friendly smile to the other students. But everyone was looking at the teacher. She was standing in front of the class explaining an important assignment. Yusuf was still learning English, and she was talking very fast. But he understood enough of what she said. He looked at the handout and sighed. This was going to be a lot of work. Everyone in class had to pick a local historical figure to learn about, but Yusuf didn't recognize any of the names on the list. Lyman Hall? Who's that? He thought. Raoul Lufberry? No idea. But then his eyes grew wide. Moses Y. Beach. Moses. We meet again. Discovery. Yusuf came home after school, dropped his backpack on the couch, and plopped down on the living room floor in front of the bookshelf. He traced his fingers down the spines of a set of Funk and Wagnall's encyclopedias, naming the letters of the alphabet as he went. When he reached the letter M, he paused, his lips pressed together in a low hum. He pulled out Volume M from the shelf and flipped it open, systematically scanning the pages one by one. But no matter how many times he looked, there was nothing about Moses Y. Beach, where his name should have been. Only a description of the Moses he already knew, the one from the Bible. Then, Muslim architecture, and a black and white photograph of an ordinary-looking building. Nothing impressive. Like Hassan II, the gigantic mosque his family had driven past on their way to the Casablanca airport. Now that must be a truly magnificent place to pray, he thought. Suddenly, Yusuf's mind was inundated with memories, a desire to return to Morocco flooding over him. His body ached with homesickness, stronger and sharper than any hunger pains he endured during Ramadan. Anxious and defeated, Yusuf closed the encyclopedia. Volume M was a dead end. He got up and looked out the window. That's when he saw them again, peeking over the tall stone wall. Obelisk, just like the one he knew from home. He grabbed his jacket and headed outside in search of some peace of mind. Yusuf walked past the open iron gates of the town cemetery, taking note of the sign attached to the bars. Closed at dusk. Does anyone know where that cemetery is? Go ahead.
There's a cemetery like by here.
Street.
Yeah.
Like, is it near the old Durham Road?
So if you walk out of this building and you walk across the street, the cemetery is right there. Closed at dusk. He saw a cluster of simple headstones along the dirt road. Then something caught his eye, the glimmer of white stone behind the branches of a gigantic tree. When he moved closer, the bottom of a grand obelisk came into view, with big bold letters stretching across the base. B-E-A-C-H. What does that spell?
Beach.
Beach. He raised his eyes upwards toward the sky and saw Moses Y. Beach carved into the stone near the top. Overwhelmed, Yusuf stared in disbelief at his discovery. He took the graphic organizer for his class project out of his pocket and checked the spelling of the name. It was the same. It was him. Yusuf didn't know what to do, but he knew he needed to do something. So he wrote down the dates on the grave into his graphic organizer. Born in Wallingford, January 15th, 1800. Died July 19th, 1868. Yusuf felt proud of his well-formed English letters and couldn't wait to tell his cousins what he'd found. The next day, Yusuf excitedly recounted his graveyard discovery to his older cousins. Amir was captivated by the tale, but Amina, ever the pragmatist, steered them away from further adventures. The library has everything you need, she insisted, taking Yusuf by the hand and leading him down the road. They entered a majestic building with towering shelves filled with books of every size and color. Does that look like our library?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Amina guided Yusuf to a section labeled encyclopedias. The volumes here were massive, dwarfing the one they had at home. Yusuf, anxious to uncover more about Moses Y. Beach, impatiently began flipping through the M volume, just as he had before. I can't find him anywhere, Yusuf exclaimed after a few minutes of searching. Amina chuckled. Remember, Yusuf, we look things up by the last name. Try the B's for beach. Yusuf's face illuminated with understanding. Of course, he ran to the end of the bookshelf and grabbed the B volume with both hands. Then, after feverishly flipping through the pages, his finger came to a dead stop. There he was, Moses Y. Beach. The encyclopedia entry, while frustratingly concise, detailed a life filled with remarkable accomplishments. As Yusuf read, his imagination ignited, expanding into the spaces between sentences, adding detail and definition. He saw a young inventor's hands tinkering with new machinery, printing presses churning out long sheets of stories, freshly inked newspaper headlines announcing in big bold letters that the country was at war. Boys his own age hawking stacks of paper in the streets, 1 penny at a time. Reporters on horseback delivering news at breakneck speed, only to be outpaced by steamboats racing down rivers to the melody of whistles and waves. An old man standing on a rooftop holding Sam Patch, a carrier pigeon, in his hands. an urgent message tied to its feet as it takes flight. Before swiftly disappearing between the clouds, it was a whirlwind of activity. This man's life, a never-ending race of information against time. Yusuf's pencil flew across his graphic organizer, capturing every detail of this extraordinary existence. When Amina gently reminded him that it was time for dinner, his head was swimming with newfound knowledge, which he eagerly shared with her on the walk home.
Yeah, that's him older.
Yusuf knew his first assignment as a student in America was going to be a huge success. What does Yusuf have about Moses Y. Beach? His
Birthday?
Who's gonna raise a hand?
Wait,
His birthday? And also when he died, right?
Yeah.
Right. The check minus. The check minus. Yusuf sat tall and proud at his desk in class. The teacher was handing back their first assignments, and he was excited to find out his grade. But when she handed him his graphic organizer, there was a bright red check minus on top. Yusuf's heart sank into his shoes. Confused and discouraged, he stared at the big circle around the dates of Moses Y. Beach's birth. After all the assignments had been returned, Yusuf raised his hand. He tried to explain to the teacher that he didn't make a mistake. She replied, all the other students reporting on Moses Y. Beach found the correct birth date, January 7th, in the library's encyclopedias. Why didn't she go to the library? Straightening up his seat again, Yusuf shouted, I did! He began to stammer, but I already had the dates. How could that be? The teacher asked. I found a better source, Yusuf replied, sitting even straighter in his chair. Better than the encyclopedia, the teacher, wanting to move on to this day's assignment, sighed. Next time, just pay closer attention to the details and you'll do better. What do you think?
I think maybe.
The adventure. Yusuf clutched the unfolded assignment in his hand. The dreaded check minus glared at him like a scarlet letter, accusing him of a crime he didn't commit. He refused to accept that he had written the dates wrong. Inside him, there was a burning desire for redemption. The encyclopedia must be wrong, he told himself. It's easier to make a mistake on paper than to carve into stone. He knew that the source of his information was better than the encyclopedia, no matter what his teacher thought. I didn't deserve a minus, and I can prove it. But I'm going to need help. The moon hung low in the night sky, casting an eerie glow over the old cemetery. Yusuf and his cousins were close enough to the obelisk to see its shadow. The cemetery was off limits after dusk, and the sun had just gone down. Amir surveyed the scene, cracking his knuckles as he assessed the situation. No turning back now, Amina. You're the lookout. Yusuf, you're going to get on my shoulders. When they reached the foot of the grave, Amir pulled a large piece of meat wrapping paper from his father's butcher shop from under his coat. Amina sighed. Fine, but if you hear me start running, you're Amir's cousin, not mine. With the precision of a well-coordinated team, Amir and Amina boosted Yusuf up to new heights. Yusuf's heart raced as he found his balance. His hands tightly gripped the brown paper given to him by Amir. He reached for the charcoal in his pocket. Etching was a trick he learned from the old men in the market back home. He began to carefully rub the lettering on the headstone, and was pleased to find the birth date was carved so clearly. As the rubbing began to reveal itself, Yusuf felt a surge of righteousness. Now I'll have proof. Everyone will see that I wasn't wrong. Followed by the sting of lingering regret. He knew he shouldn't be there. He knew he shouldn't need proof to fix his grade. He had been careful. It was his first assignment in a new school, a whole new world, and he took it very seriously. He had done his research. He had done his best. He knew that speaking truth was the most important and powerful aspect of Islam. God tells us to speak the truth in every situation. Truth will prevail. But sometimes, even when you're telling the truth, people need evidence to believe you. Yusuf toppled to the ground, arms aching as he held the prize etching above his head. His heart pounded with a mix of adrenaline and accomplishment. He reverted to Arabic and said, Shukran, to his cousins. Jazak Allah Karim. May Allah reward you with good. The speech. The next day, I tried to quiet my pride as I handed the grave rubbing to my teacher. I told her this was the truth from the beach obelisk in the Center Street Cemetery. She seemed momentarily confused and paused, considering her words. I imagined her mind doing a sequence of somersaults and backflips before eventually, to her credit, sticking the landing. Then, I'll never forget not only what she said, but how she said it. Strong and gentle, soft and warm. It felt like walking into sunshine. She told me, it's important to be wrong sometimes. That's how we learn. This time, it's my turn. So what did the teacher do? She admitted that she was wrong. Just like that, she removed the minus from my check mark with a smile. That was the moment I learned the true value of fact-checking and primary sources. Two qualities I continue to carry with me every day as a journalist for the Associated Press, an independent global news organization dedicated to factual reporting, founded by Wallingford's native son, Moses Y. Beach, a man whose relentless pursuit of the future left an enduring mark on our past and helped forge the present we hold dear today.
Check minus is basically like an A-minus.
I think a check minus is kind of like
A
you
good.
did. It's like you tried hard, but
Like
you
that
were
can
wrong.
Are you guys going downstairs now? She wants to go over something else with you.
So
Pay
we
attention.
have two pictures right here, and we're wondering which one do you guys like more, the one on the left or the one on the right? You guys like the right? Why do you guys like the right?
It was more color.
More color?
That one. It looks more interesting.
Interesting. You see it, so this is
Yeah,
like more
what's going on in that?
What's going
Yeah, that's different. You said the left because it shows the story more.
Did we pick the right picture?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, good. When you were showing your parents this picture, where is this?
Here.
There. Tim wants to show you one more thing up here. See if you really understood what happened in the story. All right. So Tim's gonna look up here for some things on the internet. Remember we said the internet is like encyclopedias? What did you tell me about encyclopedias and the internet before we came out here? Didn't you say you'd like them to be very accurate? You wanted them to be right? You wanted to be able to go to the internet and say, oh, that's the right information, I can trust that information, correct? Okay. So Tim is going to show you some things on the internet. This is the internet, everyone. I'm introducing you to the internet.
We know what it is.
You know what it is.
I was on it this morning.
What do you think Tim is going to be looking for on the internet? The show's name is, they say it's your birthday. So what do you think he's looking for on the internet?
They say it's your birthday.
Close.
Who's that?
Whose
birthday?
Whose birthday?
Whose birthday?
Moses
Moses Y. Beach's birthday. What is Moses Y. Beach's birthday, everybody?
January 15th.
Oh my god.
Oh, someone was paying attention.
She got it.
Does everyone agree with her? What was Moses Y. Beach's birthday? Use your outdoor voice.
January 15th.
And what is wrong in the encyclopedia?
So we'll see.
He's doing a search like you would, right?
Basically, when I searched up Moses
Listen
Yale
to
Beach,
Tim.
birth 7th, first one comes up, it's January 7th. If we go to Moses Y. Beach birthday, it's not sure January 15th to 19th as well. If we keep scrolling down, there's a lot of misinformation on the internet saying it's very inconsistent on the birthdays, guys. So born January 7th, you see that, guys? What's Moses Y. Beach's actual birthday?
January 15th.
15th. You don't look at the middle name because it's Moses Y. Beach. This one's Moses S. Beach. And some people might get confused and say, oh, it's actually October 5th. But you actually have to really understand what you're researching for.
See, it does say.
So his son is also Moses Beach.